Hello everyone. So today's video is going to be on the Wheel of the Year. The Wheel of the Year doesn't necessarily apply to witchcraft, although some witches are pagans. And so if you are interested in paganism and you are this is like a new path for you, then I figured this would be a beneficial video. To kind of go over, and this is just going to be a quick overview, because I mean, if I went into all the ways that everybody celebrates all over the world and how they view it, we would be here all day. So this is just a quick overview on the Wheel of the Year, and I'm not going to bring in or talk about any deities associated with each Sabbat, because everybody invokes different deities depending on which pantheon they work with. And so I'm not going to touch on deities. I'm just going to touch on the Sabbats themselves. So I figured we would start with the one that is approaching, Mabon. And so Mabon is the first day of fall. So that is between September 21st and September 23rd, depending on whatever day the autumn falls on. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So this is a time of reflection on what you have gained over the past year. And it's a second harvest, and it's preparing for the coming winter. And if you see me looking over to the side, I do have my bullet notes here. Next is Samhain, and it's spelled Samhain, which looks like it said Samhain, but it's actually pronounced Samhain or Samhain. So it's a little tricky. When I first started on my path years ago, I thought for sure it was pronounced Samhain, and then I realized, oh, it's not. So this is when, if you hear my cat crying in the background, I apologize. She is out in the main room and she wants to come in, but she cannot. This is when the veil is at its thinnest. This is a time of communication with ancestors and with past loved ones over the course of the year. You can also set up an ancestor altar, which is what I do it every year, and it's a way for me to connect with loved ones that I've that I've lost. And it's a great way for me to really keep their memory alive, and a way for me to connect with their energy and have them come in to visit. And it's the easiest time to communicate with them. It's the third and final harvest, and it's a time to prepare for the cold, harsh winter. And depending on where you live, so your winter may be harsher than others. So I live in a location that the winters are pretty brutal. So it is a time to really prepare for that. And you know, especially like back in the day, where there wasn't, you know, a Cumberland Farms on every corner. There weren't grocery stores. There weren't, I mean, you grew your own food. And so the harvest meant everything to them, because that was their livelihood. That was going to sustain them through the winter. You can also do things like a dumb supper. And people have different ways of doing this, but you can make it an extravagant event where you send out invitations and you tell them, you know, whoever is coming, to bring, one guest with them that is not from our physical world, but from, you know, that they have passed on. And so they come, and, you know, you don't serve yourself, you serve each other. So you go up and you get your food, well, not your food, but you get food, a plate made, and you give it to someone else. And everybody does this. They get a plate for someone else. And then you sit, and you want to also set the table for placings of those that were invited that are from the spirit world. And, you know, set places for them, and, you know, their food and everything like that. And you sit and you eat in silence. And really pay attention while you're eating, the feelings that you get. Really paying attention to what you are hearing, to what you're seeing. Really tapping into your third eye and your psychic ability. Everybody has a psychic ability. Every single person on this planet has a psychic ability. We all have, crown chakras and third eye chakras, and those two are connected to our sixth sense. So really paying attention. Then when everybody is done eating, you wash your plate or whatever it is, and then you sit and you have a conversation about what you experienced during the dumb supper. You can also do one just with your family and just invite your past family members to the dinner table. And you don't have to be quiet if you don't want to. You can talk. Still paying attention to your feelings and what you feel, hear, and see. And so that's just a couple of ways to perform a dumb supper for Samhain. Next one is Yule. And Samhain is on Halloween. It's October 31st. Yule is winter solstice. So this is anywhere between December 21st to December 23rd, whichever day that falls on that year. This is the day of return of the light. It is the shortest day of the year and the longest night of the year. But it is the night that the sun is reborn, because from that point on, the days get longer. Trees symbolized power of life. So this is why people bring in trees into their home and decorate them. This is a pagan tradition. And ornaments were wishes and wishes of prosperity, wishes of healing. So you would put your ornaments on your tree and you would have intentions for each ornament. So each ornament would represent a wish you want to bring into the coming year. The lights on the tree represented the coming, the rebirth and the longer days coming. Gifts and stockings. You would give gifts, to other people on Yule, and the stockings were, it's an old story of Odin, and Odin is a god, a Norse god, and he would fly with his 8-legged reindeer. I forget the name of the reindeer, but it was this 8-legged reindeer, and he would go house to house, and the kids would put shoes by the fireplace, and he would leave gifts in the shoes. And so that's where the stocking tradition started from. And the Yule log is a representation of rebirth, of light, and new beginnings. So you would light a Yule log on Yule Eve, or even Yule Day. You could. I do it on. That doesn't make any sense. Don't listen to me. Why do I do these? Yule is a whole day. You could do it during the day. You could do it at night. And that's what I'm trying to say. But my words don't connect to my brain. And then I say things that make no sense. So that is what I meant to say. You could do it during the day or you could do it at night. I do it at night. I like the way it looks at night, with just the candles and just the tree. And, it has, and it's such a peaceful, beautiful energy. Next is invoke. Invoke is February 2nd, which a lot of you may know as Groundhog Day. This is the midpoint between winter and summer. And the earth is quickening, and it's getting ready for life to be bountiful again. So the earth is preparing itself for the return of, fertility of the animals and of the plants and of the trees are coming into, bloom again. So it's preparing for these things. Ostara is the spring equinox. So this is March 21st to 23rd, depending on the year, what day that falls on. And this is life re-emerges. This is early flowers and birds starting to prepare their nests. Birds that fly south for the center. That's not English. Birds that fly south for the winter start flying back. Not all birds, but I know that hummingbirds are one in my area that start to come back around the spring. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. I need more coffee, I think. Decorating eggs, and the symbol of the rabbit represents fertility. And so decorating eggs, which is usually done at Easter, is originally a pagan tradition. It's to represent fertility and life coming back to Earth, and with the warming weather and the animals preparing for new litters, or nests full of eggs, and just really acknowledging that life has returned to the colder regions and that are starting to warm up. Beltane is May 1st, and it celebrates the return of light and heat. So it's the return of light and heat to fertile lands. And so this is when it really starts to pick up. We start to see the emerging of fledglings. We start to see some bees come out early. They will come out around spring. But in May, that's when everything is full-fledged. Life is just booming, and everything is in bloom. The flowers are coming up. The trees have all their leaves. And this is a time of the maypole. And some people still do practice the maypole, but the maypole itself is a phallic symbol. And you would have people hold ribbons, usually what they were called maidens. They would hold ribbons, and they would dance around the maypole, intertwining the ribbon until they got all the way to the bottom. And this was to ensure fertility. And then we have Letha. Letha is summer solstice. So this is June 21st to June 23rd, depending on when it falls in that particular year. And it is the longest day and the shortest night of the year. This is when the nights start to get longer and the days start to get shorter after this point. The earth is producing the fruits, and there are I can't think. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening to my brain. Let me just take a sip of coffee. Maybe that will help, because I need help at this point. Hopefully a little bit of coffee will help spark activity in the brain again. But it helps produce bountiful produce, and so you have these early summer vegetables being harvested. You have the early fruits being harvested. So all of these things are this is a time where it's not considered the first harvest festival, but there's harvesting happening. There's bountiful fruits and vegetables and foods that are being gathered during this time. And Lammas or it's also called Lunasa, and Lunasa is for the god Lu. And I know I said I wasn't going to bring in any deities, but Lunasa is for the god Lu. It's also called Lammas, and that's why I chose to call it Lammas, because I do not follow or invoke or work with Lu. So I work with the Egyptian pantheon. So I'm going to call it Lammas. And this is August 1st. This is the first harvest festival of the year. And it's to celebrate and acknowledge and recognize the coming of the fall, and to start preparing for, this is the first preparation for the winter to come, to really start gathering and saving and stocking everything that you need to start preparing now for the winter to come. So I hope that you enjoyed my brain not working and my sip of coffee to revitalize brain activity. I hope you found this video useful. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.